Cystic fibrosis is a fatal genetic disease
that affects the lungs and digestive system of people who have it.
It causes thick mucus to build up in the lungs.
And over time, their lungs degenerate.
It decreases your ability to breathe and extract oxygen.
Currently, there's no cure for cystic fibrosis.
The average life expectancy for someone with CF just jumped from 37 years old to 41, but that is skewed upwards by people who have milder forms of the disease than I do. There are approximately 70,000 people in the world with CF and 30,000 in the US. Thick mucus builds up in our lungs. In order to try to clear our airways, we have to cough a lot. I get lung bleeds all the time, and it's always alarming. You feel sort of this betrayal of your body. I have CF-related diabetes, which is a common comorbidity. It really can affect the whole body. There are over 1,900 different mutations of CF, and I have a mutation that is relatively rare. 1% of people with CF have my mutation.
She looks healthy, but she's not. We go for a walk for 5-10 minutes, and I can hear her breathing loudly.
It feels like she's breathing out of a straw, and as she gets older and as the CF progresses, the straw is getting smaller and smaller, so it gets harder and harder for her to breathe.
I have about 37% lung function and pretty severe lung scarring from infections. The next stage is end stage, and at that point, the only treatment option is a lung transplant.
As Emily gets older, Emily gets sicker. Her timeline is short, so after each year that goes by, we have an added sense of urgency.
Emilys-Entourage is a nonprofit organization that was started with family and close friends. We've grown into this huge entourage of very, very committed, passionate people. We're going on our 4th year, and we've raised close to $670,000 for cystic fibrosis research.
I think Emilys-Entourage has exploded in the past year. We had our first tennis tournament, our first team in the Philadelphia Marathon, and we're hosting a research conference that's focused on my specific group of rare mutations. We are at our heart a family organization that is being propelled by a community that keeps getting bigger. And we're one family, and there's a lot of other families just like us.
We've identified a research lab that we're channeling money through. We are working with Dr. Alan Verkman at UCSF and labs that he works with.
My lab does a variety of things. One of the areas is drug discovery. We've worked in CF now more than 20 years, and Emily presents a unique mutation, the W1282X mutation. It's not a mutation that appears to be easily corrected by the existing drugs, and it requires its own rethinking, retooling, and its own screening.
I actually went out there a couple months ago, and they did some nasal scrapings,
which involved passing a small brush up her nose, twisting it to obtain cells.
And they can grow more of those cells, and those cells act like CF cells in the lungs.
We can study her mutation short of actually studying it in her own body. This will be a very important tool as we move forward with drug testing.
We hope that we'll find that there's some pre-existing medication that would work for Emily's mutation.
That could then lead to these drugs being made available for CF patients much faster.
We want a treatment that might keep me from lung transplant and people like me who don't have 5 and 10 years to wait. We want hope that a breakthrough can realistically benefit us.
Happy birthday to you.
I think birthdays are scary for anyone, but for my sister, she's turning 30 years old, which is such a milestone.
What I think I worry about is missing important moments, and I have a really tight-knit family, and not being there for my siblings or my parents when they need me.
I do have to think about my sister maybe not being there as my maid of honor, or even her not feeling well enough to come down and see me graduate from college.
I recognize that the work that we do may be of benefit to people and may not be done quickly enough to benefit Emily.
I feel a ton of urgency. It's scary. It's scary.
The hope is we'll come up with a compound that Emily could take as a drug very soon to prolong her survival as much as possible.
They did find some compounds that had really positive effects on my mutation, so that was really promising.
It's very exciting to us to be able to take a compound which will soon be approved and show that it works for Emily's mutation.
We're so close, but it is a fierce race against time because she is getting sicker.
We feel like if we do it fast, we might be able to change the end of the story.
Getting older when you're living with CF is a scary reality. And, a birthday is when you really think about that. But it's not worth wasting what is a really special moment on sadness. I believe in celebrating. And what better way to celebrate a big milestone than trying to add time for many more?